Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Brittany Adeline King, and I'm the curatorial assistant here at White Columns. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to tonight's reading, featuring Sean D. Henry Smith, A.A. Jerriod Avant, Nabila Lovelace, Charleen McClure, Saretta Morgan, and Jayson P. Smith. This is the third in a series of online events organized on the occasion of Sean's exhibition In Awe of Geometry and Mornings, which is currently on view at White Columns until March 6th. The exhibition brings together a selection of photographs drawn from Henry Smith's most recent book, Wild Peach, which was published by Future Poem this past fall. Wild Peach is available to purchase now from White Columns and Future Poem, and it's available at Print and Matter Virtual Art Book Fair through Sunday. A special thank you to Sean for working with us and organizing tonight's event. Also, a special thank you to all of our participants. Tonight we'll be joined by H. Jerriod Avant. Happy birthday, Jerriod. From Longtown, Mississippi, who's a graduate of Jackson State University and earned an MFA degree from Spalding University as well as New York University. Jerriod has received 2 poetry fellowships from the Fine Artwork Center in Provincetown and is a graduate teaching assistant pursuing a PhD in English at University of Rhode Island. Nebula Lovelace is a first-generation Queens-born poet whose people hail from Trinidad and Nigeria. Sons of Achilles, her debut book of poems, is out now through Yes Yes Books, and she currently resides in Tuscaloosa. Charleen McClure is a poet and educator currently residing in New York City. She is a recipient of a 2020 Jonah Haffe Foundation Writers Award and a Fulbright Scholar. Her work has been supported by Cave Canem, the Callaloo Creative Writing Workshop, and Bona, and her poems published in the Offing Poetry Project, Mosaic, Muzzle, and elsewhere. Saretta Morgan is the author of chapbooks Feeling Upon Arrival, 2018, and Room for a Counter Interior, 2017. She lives between Phoenix and Mojave Valley, Arizona. Recent work considers ecology and Black migration in the American Southwest. Recent poems can be found at the Academy of American Poets, the Volta, Triple Canopy, and the Poetry Project. Lastly, we have Jayson P. Smith, an interdisciplinary artist, writer, and curator, currently living and working in Brooklyn, New York. Primarily working within language, sound, and movement, their work is interested in Black performance, interiority, collaboration, and somatic practices. The writing appears in West Branch, Boundary 2, the Poetry Project's Recluse, Gulf Coast, and The Offing, among others. So with that being said, thank you all again for tuning in tonight. I'm going to turn it over to you now, Sean.
Okay. Wow. Hi, everybody. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Thank you to everyone who's here presently. Wow. Yeah, Charleen, Jerriod, Nabila, Saretta, Jayson. It means so much to be in this space with you all in the way that we can be in space together. I kind of want to, it's interesting. This is the first time I've have curated a sort of series, as it were, and I need to thank Nabila and Jayson in particular for your curatorial efforts, because it is your having included me in things that has brought me here. And I say that unabashedly and without any kind of sense of extravagance, I suppose. But what I mean is the conversation, the literary festival that Nabila and Jayson have so incredibly arranged, is the reason I know so many of the people that I know and live and work with and am thinking alongside, and it's the efforts in community and collaboration that you all have included me in that have made a lot of this journey possible, and it's great to be on it with you all. So just big ups to you all so much. I think about how we met Nebula through the invitation from Carrie Lord to read at Emory, and that's where I met you, Jerriod. And actually thinking about this night has reminded me of a kind of synth table, but I feel like ready or not. No, I'm not ready, but I'm reminded that I'm still thinking about Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Max Roach album. And Jerriod, that was one of the first things we chatted about, was the kind of the chapbook I was envisioning. And but it's all to say, just through those beginnings, it's kind of led us to where we are now. And so, I don't know, welcome to this living room. And thanks for having me in it. Yeah. Unmute. Come on now. I'm tired of hearing myself.
I'm unmuted, man. I'm throwing you kisses and shit, man.
I was unmuted, but then I thought everybody was muted, so I got self-conscious.
Yeah.
I'm over here fawning.
Literally.
And I guess to the audience, but also just to reiterate to you all, just like the last reading in the series, we're gonna work in rounds, and we'll each read something and kind of have space to chat and holler and sing to and at each other. I just want to encourage the sense of being in a communal space with each other, which is how so much of this work has been developed and shared. And I think, I don't have it with me now, Saretta, but my copy of Feeling on Arrival is probably the most tattered copy in existence, because it is always in my pocket and it's always being handed off to somebody else. And then, firm texts are being sent to have it returned because I need it. It's, and I feel boundless with my library, but that's something I can't lose. And so I'm it means a lot to be with you here, and then to have been with your work and your thinking.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to be with you all under the sun. So, I guess I'll go over the order real quick, and so we have it in mind, but then we'll keep it going. So I'll start. Saretta, you next. Jayson, Jerriod, Nabila, and then Charleen. Okay. Onslaught. 1. Just another nigga with the blues, you hear me, Amiri? Lingering mountaintop myopia, indigos outside and onward. Dogwood breath, distinguished fog drop, hungering. How come I can't extinguish this turquoise? How come we can't extinguish these blacks? Magenta money, cornucopia, been eaten these days. Like a bird, dead serious, dead center, death grips, but she let go sometime. It be like that. Doubly drowning, doubly conduit, sentient sometimes too even. Say cheese, but it's cyanotype in the worm light, inordinately. Be what you trying to see, that's how come I became a symposium on the ocean. In the evening time, atop emulsion under UV. All layers, all tangled in the domain, isn't it marvelous? Dust is sky, cricket drain song stuck, repeat times 3. Dust is sky, cricket drain song stuck, repeat times 3. Dust is sky, cricket drain song stuck. Been a week at most, cheap, and I ain't the least bit sorry. Roving pain, plain, pavement, poison, unmitigated euphoria. There are few threats like the return of morning. Reductionist at best, dizzy cicada, yellow harvest. Well-watered garden grow wild. Will love when most lush. Signal source, slip shore, silk creme goblin, the saint of the cavalry. Woo!
We got rounds of this?
Wow.
What a start.
You not fall out this chair.
Okay. I'm looking for my cavalry poem. I don't know if I'll find it. I'll keep looking. Having survived probable hypothermia, Exposure, blunt force as a consequence of, due to consequences of feeling upon knuckles happening under, where exposure is an alternative, a thick nose skeletonized, which looks different according to everyone. To be with whom one cannot leave their body, to study their hands and receive the untoward gift extended only by them we who endured disobedience, who made it by slow practice of disavowal. Every object, every moment has its after image. James Baldwin shows up to meet me at the tri-state shooting range. Jordan and Enzaldua hike Brown Canyon. They spot a rare beagless tyrannulet hugging parched northern boundaries of her species range. Along the west border of Buenos Aires National Wildlife Refuge, where mass bobwhite quail are few but on the rise, a woman, M. Ramirez, was found 5 weeks after dying in the wash that intersects 286 at mile 10. Though monsoons did not arrive, the trees on both sides were being overtaken, an unaccountable green. Beyond rational weight, words assume a physics of hunger and ash according to each shadowy interior. The Mexican jaguar treads backwards to observe what flickers against Precambrian walls. The Department of Interior studies effects of stress and fire on vegetation via high-rise, high-res satellite phenometrics. No two droughts are alike. In this way, even arms in a praise dance cannot, to take on and in doing so both manifest and relent, them we who survived a future conditioned to reform rebar between breakfast and chapped thighs, who sink their bellies open into brown water, Sade crying, everyone's tears into wounds having sealed each gill.
Oh, that was it. You just stopped. Wow.
Oh,
Y'all are bugging.
Yeah. Oh my God. The places you take us, you know.
You're really the one, Saretta. Wow.
Like, you know?
Like, it's fine. Okay. Young Nigga, the album. I'm a primary consumer of poison as syllogism, singular and languaged with terrible incentive, undulating near orchestra seats on the far side of acquisition. Refrain. Did you ever think that you would be this rich in synonyms for property, in issues or orders of protection? With perfect head ass, we've been strapped for color beyond dignity. Refrain. I bought something with all the ways we make do, and the faux morality made me feel special. It's the calculus of my Instagram intact. Murdered a houseplant, approached a kind of feeling the other day. Placed commercial gestures as narrative, or tally jazz in my syllables and someone runs the funds for my disclosure. What modernist? Peace as poem, what our brain does outside the task of survival, and it's tricky, if you survived, to adjust the pitch of allegory, settle the dilemma.
Well, what modernist? What modernist?
Settled.
Well, welcome back, Bobby, also. Hot nigga, let's go.
Let's go!
Draw song for President Dumpity Lumpity Trump. You just wine can sky my sump don't find. Spuglet shine the lie piles lumps don't find. Cheaper rhymes the lie miles bump on slime. Blue what kind of high I thump on time. You will find a die cry trump on crime. You the kind of fly dry hogs won't mind. You the kind of fly dry hogs won't mind.
Nah.
You will find a die cry trump on crime. Blue what kind of high I tongue on time. Cheaper rhymes the lie miles bump on time. Spuglet shine the lie pile lumps don't find. Puget wine the sky my sump don't find.
What?
No.
Come on.
No.
Yo!
I just thought I already went.
Right.
That's
Oh my God.
Jerriod turned 40 today and said, "You know what? The trunk is open."
This is crazy.
You writing poems like that in Boise, my nigga?
You have questions.
Come on now. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Sorry, yo.
I don't even know. First off, I mean, I'm so grateful to be here.
I'm so happy you're here.
Truly, same.
So, I'm gonna start with this one. Can anyone live with Eartha Kitt? I cannot control who loves me or how they do. I control my jaw. Its orchestra of bite and spit, if necessary, its holding of a man's bruised tongue. I chew. The interviewer exhumes the contents, the funeral and casket, the man waiting behind the door, a suited bouquet of sealed lips. The shovel, he tells her, is for you to slip inside. You won't have your name, but you won't be alone. Her face opens, her laughter spits. She calls him a fool, her eyes narrowed to the scent of his sweat. She says, I cannot choose how I will die, but I can choose what will kill me. She lifts her shirt. She lifts her shirt to show him, to give him a name for God, her chest arched forward for arrows. A hole, he whispers, can give a key its purpose. Ask the right question. How do you keep warm? I keep breathing, listening. I keep breathing.
Charlene.
Who can live with Charlene?
For real.
All right, well, I'm done.
You know, I was like, well, we're actually going to let Charlene take on the rest of the
No.
Just read
No.
Oh, wow.
That was round one?
Wow.
Y'all didn't tell me we were going to fight.
I said cipher, you know. You taught me how to fight, you know. I've been writing a poem, or like in movements, and the working title is Birthday Licks. It's not for you, Jerriod, but it's in keeping. In the opera version of all this, you would be wearing a suit lightly crumpled, made of something too heavy for the weather. Your belt and shoes would not match. You wore your wedding ring like something you stole, like something you didn't belong to. Made everyone suffer for your inability to sit with yourself. Choose the sobering entity. The singular raindrop falls on the tip of your nose. You're standing in the doorframe of your childhood home, the first one since there were many. Who is it, you ask? Trouble again, replies the nocturne howl. You recall we've met. I don't think you'd forget me so easily. You know damn well I'm too old for this sort of thing. Another shoulderless man to waste my time.
Did Nabila opt out?
Oh, hold on. Right.
Yeah.
What's up, friends? No, I didn't opt out. I just thought we were doing something new. Folks went, and I was like, I'll go with it.
Oh, yeah, you should have left the Jerriod. My fault. So, Nabila, you go.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Y'all know I'm flexy. It's good, baby. I'm good with whatever. I was like, listen, I'm chilling. This is crazy.
Why don't you go now? Go now.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, rest assured,
you can do two if you want. You should do two.
Not
Oh my God.
Nabila, do two.
Hey, oh. Okay, I'll read this poem. I don't know. Maybe I could jump in later to do the second, you know?
Okay.
I'm going to do the first one. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Fittest.
Mm.
I am faster than you, and that is why I survive. Before, my skin was all marked bills, traced and tracked in a computer, easily located and thrilling. Hair follicles, 75% cotton, 25% linen. Now I got blood for sale. I'll never go broke. In this economy, plasma guarantees me at least 3 of me. I'm a good woman for my nigga. Learn to read last and still outread you. I can mark things too. My hymen was a gentleman previous to bleeding through king-sized mattresses. If beds were my husband's, they'd be fixed. Ages 11 through 14, I bled through every pair of jeans on the regular and marked so much land.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Nabi.
I think I just got my period. You just gave me my period.
Listen.
Too much power.
That's just really fun.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Method is produced as a form negotiates landscape, mass and syntax, collectivity, autonomy, and root structure, the mesmeric elongated, the zone of differentiation. The name lost comes only through accumulation, its home. With regard to collectivity, within the point where one impression is restrained, yet another continues, we find an impasse. This word I use to suggest active projection. One origin for the terminal point of a specific collectivity, the hour at which a relationship must shift. With regard to home, it is where cohesive gesture emerges, the mass non-viable through speech and fully conceded to image, axiom, iris and flora, themselves materially constituted, read figures through variation, the penetration, fell fields and foundation, text, analog observation, versus narrating what is primarily geometric, not question, not time, except the wonder of its own temporality, the other text. This is form understanding, forms through which understanding passes, proxy to the conditions from which they emerge, drawing intelligence. Being encounters itself and its other surfaces through vegetation, such a simple thing. All space holds a collective body, amorously or otherwise. What then comprises impasse? Assume narration as transitive in grammatical and logical sense. If a sentence passes always through a landscape and that landscape is not vacant, then the landscape at certain points impresses the body, physically, physiologically. Then those marks are indicative of how and what that landscape repels. Blunt trauma to fucking, each subskeletal, worn epidurally. Whereas oppression may be a question of velocity, erasure is necessarily one of form. Skin resists being broken. Burns discolor the necks, unwilling yet obedient. Within geometric considerations, 2 phrases are considered identical according to the degree by which each shifts without being punctured or erased. This has no meaning within a body deformed by thirst, though meaning continues to carry. Regardless of density or scale, root silence curls under. Without geometric study, disparate wounds are overlooked.
Like, what do we do now? Like, I just...
I think we're going to keep going in the... So you're next, Jayson?
Yeah, you, Jayson.
Yeah.
I got to read a poem after that. Okay.
Yes. Basically, I think after Jerriod, Nabila will go again.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we'll be back on track. Yeah.
Ooh. Saretta, wow. I'll do this one. Actually, no, I won't. To disembark. It stands to reason suffering was last. A score of surface-level disasters with intention. Gluten-free for the sake of textbooks. It's July. Someone's tired of the poor. Air quality action day, and no matter the season, me wailing about loss and pentameter. Name a prettier way to plead diaspora. No one commands social death, and yet compliance. Like a Kardashian, my desire on display as transactional. Aspartame sweet. Immaterial like credit scores or closure. I remain a good boy for you, America. Barebacking debt like a man. Talking shit about the state on my iPhone. Grand, isn't it? To represent a people only in blame.
Talking shit about the state on my iPhone.
So it's real. I be feeling fraudulent. Like, oh, y'all.
The self-awareness is there. Is that?
What was the last line? To represent people only in blame?
The nerve of death. I read fly cheeks deriving by spreads for pride, Moraine. A bed by weeks reviving chartreuse for trying abstain. But scared how shrieks enliven why said a frying of main. Spy dread sky reeks surviving I bred applying the thing. For shred lie reeks conniving lie red a crying for pain. The dead I keeps alive in my head are dying again.
Oh my God.
The dead I keeps alive in my head are dying again. For shred lie reeks conniving lie red a crying for pain. Spy dread sky reeks surviving I bred applying the thing. For scared how shrieks enliven why said a frying of man. A bed by weeks reviving chartreuse far trying abstain. I read fly cheeks deriving by spread for pride Moraine.
I just want to stomp when I hear you read. Like, I just, I'm just like...
like Kirk Franklin in it then.
Yeah.
Make me clap my hands.
You want to dance. Oh my God. Oh.
You can't put out a book without an audiobook also, right? Like that.
Yeah, that is true. You have to.
That is all facts.
We gonna make it happen. That's let's talk.
The dead I keep alive in my head are dying.
Again? Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
And then had the nerve to say it again.
Right. Right. Like I didn't hear you the first time.
Right.
This is a palindrome. This man was like, yeah, you're gonna hear it again. What's that? What?
Y'all heard what I said the first time. Jerriod turned 40 and opened the trunk. I will maintain it. Right. See?
Oh my God, yo, thank Jerriod. I mean, listen, okay. I was supposed to read a poem, so supposedly, here we are. This is crazy. Y'all, this is just really the best kind of wildness. Anyway, all right.
The energy.
The energy. Okay. This poem is called Alive with Mingus Plays the Piano, track 1. Myself when I am real leads with the highest concentrated artery in the body. Checks for patterns of coagulation and bruising that isn't a bruise. Blood clots. I search my skin from the maze graded in my big toe to the apex of my wave cap, adorned or abandoned in sleep turns. My nappy blasphemy. Cotton to pillow, tuft directly to tuft. Cat Williams somewhere scoffing at the brokenness of my predicament. But I get my hair cut every 10 days religiously. Holy water upon the sharpest hands. My smile whitening from the outside in as my hairline approaches its crispest corners. It cannot be the day I demise if my hairline is a sun-distracted mower's consequence. I've paid my penance for shape up and taper, fresh to death.
Adorned. Could you read that line one more time? Adorned.
Which? Ooh.
I'm sorry.
Oh wait, which one?
Adorned, and then just after, like the handful of words after.
Oh God, wait.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're perfect. I'm like, I don't even know if I can find it. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at it, but
am I wrong? Did I mishear?
No, you're probably right, and I just have trouble looking at things these days. Like, just
I hear you. Yeah.
Straight up looking for a thing. I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry. Wait. Oh, yep. Okay. The apex of my wave cap, adorned or abandoned in sleep turns. My nap.
Sleep turns.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't see.
All right. You mentioned Mingus, so I'm going to mention Alice Coltrane. And I literally wrote this poem the day after I saw y'all. So,
no way.
Wow.
Like literally next day. So,
wow.
It was a little rough, I think.
No shit.
But
no. Straight fire.
Oh. Okay. On Nabila's recommendation, she said I should play some of the song. So I'm gonna start off with some more sound, more than the sound of our bodies. So. She never say a word. She never say a word. She never say a word. But I hear a storm. A monastery for Alice Coltrane. She never say a word, but I hear a storm. The wind unsettling, American cities in distress. It began with her wordless, moan eased on top piano. Dear Alice, the cassava women we come from taught us how to pray. Sweet Alice of North Carolina and the open skies, dear Alice, I'm torn. Please tell me how the Holy Spirit get a hold. I hear a storm. Lord, help me, Lord, help me, Lord, help. I heard my mama yell some Sundays. Yes, Lord, yes, my soul, most others. I wondered if she ever fell in love with a man who held his left lung like a saxophone in Detroit or Kansas City. Did anybody ever hold my mama that way? Alice will tell about it. She writes it down on her page, though the ink's not there. As soon as she gets it down, it all disappears. As soon as she gets him down, he disappears again. As soon as you get it down, it disappears into the silence. You heard a dream of jazz men, freshly polished shoes on sand. My beloved posed beside them in the Sahara, next to pyramids, gold horns stretch their hands. I dream their lips pressing into song for the beloved, into song for the creator, into song for us all. At the monastery with Alice there, we daydream, doing the laundry, washing our clothes, throwing the sun up and over our shoulder like trouble. Dear God, may there be peace and love and perfection among all creation. Dear God, may there be peace and love and perfection among all creation. Dear God, may there be peace and love and perfection. Dear God, I hear a storm.
Throwing the sun up and over my shoulder. Trouble.
You know it.
Come on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Charleen.
Thank you. Like, again, I saw your faces and that came out, so. Thank you.
Ooh wee, ooh wee. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like. Wow. Yeah. Can I see? I need to see it when we're done. Yeah. I want. Okay. Wow. Mouth agape. The gospel of midnight is bike chain smoke song stomp stomp hallelujah. It's hard to be anything but maritime these days. Pray tell, lest it slips out, lest it slipped out of you at routine stop October summons. It's hard to be anything but jawbone these days, I tell you. Not because I'm tight calcium, but damn tooth, loose, shake, pop, ship, cavity, tin, type, pipe, wind, water, gram. I'm weeping under several blankets. I'm weeping under several beehives. This room is tornado museum, tightly whipping sideways, wasp softly drilling weary walls. A tight corner turned hard will get the job done. The mathematics of consequence leaves little room for serendipity. We are tired of being vegetables of misery. Cash crop my spiritless. Your God is expensive. It is infinite lifetimes, forced bled dry, inarticulate mantra, prayer for monetary confinement. They think they juice me liquidless, but there isn't a straw in the world thick enough to drain me. Spit, blood, park bench, don't die in unfamiliar space. I'm building my own casket so I'll know it was a place I labored and loved. Horse water drink slow till November, 70 brick gold, fire sky, Ridgeview flat light. Autumn ombre stampede thicker than corn husk. Wide open, ancient to go, earned mana showers. Cracked rock speaks only in blood if you listen good.
Cracked rock speaks only in blood.
You listen good. Like,
Is that what you said? I wanted to share. First, I want to ask, where's Nabila? Nabila, are you from the Pussy Valley place?
No. Oh, did you ask if that's where I was from or if that's like where I'm at?
Is that where you are?
I'm like not
Wait,
too
what's
far. I'm in Alabama, so
where?
we're
I
Pussy
thought it was
Valley.
in Texas.
We're
Yeah.
Pussy Valley.
Hold on. Look,
Pussy Valley.
we just gonna gloss over
Pussy Valley.
P Valley, we're being
like,
PG-13.
It's the show.
Oh, right?
Oh, I don't watch
The
TV.
show.
I get it.
I don't usually either, but
It's a good show.
but it's written by a stage play like writer, and there's a lot of like you can see the theater in it. It's really amazing.
Oh, okay.
It's real good.
Anyway, but that's the same name of the place, right? Is it
No.
Tuscaloosa?
No, but they all kind of sound similar. Like that one is Chuckalisa. This one's
Chuckalisa. Oh,
Have, like,
okay.
the same
No,
kind
I'm
of,
way
like,
off. I'm way off.
emphatic, but they have like emphatic beats.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Tuscaloosa, you know.
It's like a can't rhyme if you squint, you know?
You know. They got the same syllable.
Come on, Miss
You were to meter it.
No, they just all sound like the South, and I don't know nothing.
Again, at the same. So, like, it's basically the same word, I think. That's how it works, right? Prosody.
I've been reading Asio Adid's book, No Knowledge is Complete Until It Passes Through My Body.
Ooh.
And I wanted to read some of it right now, but I swear I had it like 5 minutes ago and now it's gone. But I have technology in my hand, so I'm just gonna like get a poem off the internet of hers to share. I was thinking, well, just like I love the title of that book, and I was thinking it's actually like just an idea that I've been thinking about for a long time. And so when it was her title, I was like, that mother, but it's good. She's a homie. I love it. But when we got off our call last time, I was just thinking about like how much love was in this space and how the love was like taking all these different aesthetic forms. And that just reminded me of like the kind of like ethos running through her book. But I'm going to read this poem of hers. It's called Attention as a Form of Ethics, an excerpt. It's the longer work. And it starts with an epigraph from Ralph Lemon, which is, "We are mired in matter until we are not." I thought we were an archipelago, each felt under our own finessed and gilded wing. Let's make an assumption. Let's make an assumption that the lake has a bottom. Let's make an assumption that everyone will mourn. Let's sack 100 greenbacks for the sake of acknowledging they mean something. What does it mean to have worth? Who would dream to drain a lake? I spent my days staring into the eyes of the Baltic. It's because I am also a body of water. It's not that onerous. I've built a muscle memory. It's not that heavy. Let's talk about erasure. I mean, that's easy. Start with a word that you don't like. Start with the people you don't know. Start with a neighbor. Rank start with any miasma dispersed. Let's talk about burden. Let's talk about burden for the weight it lends us. Let's talk about supplication, about my palms, uplift, patience. Let's celebrate our subsistence in amber rivulets of still life, constellations, how you molded me, country, how we became it. The longitude is a contested border. My longest muscle I named familiar. Yeah.
Wow.
What's the name again, Saretta?
The name of the poem? It was, I don't want to get it wrong. Technology back on. Attention as a Form of Ethics excerpts. Yeah, we did.
And the writer?
Oh, I see how we did. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, thanks.
right. I was going to read a section of ossuary, but I can't find the section that I want. So
Oh my god.
a poem of mine will be a small.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You take a second to find it, because I know exactly the section you're going to read too.
Or read another one, or...
Let's see, because the book's on my shelf, because I don't play.
I'm going to get something too in the meantime.
Right. Oh, well, no shade. I typed this up like ages ago. All right, cool. It's on my computer. Okay. Okay. Cool. Ossuary 1. I lived and loved, some might say, in momentous times. Looking back, my dreams were full of prisons. In our narcotic drifting slumbers, so many dreams, of course, were full of prisons. Mine were without relief. In our induced days and our wingless days, my every waking was incarcerated. Each square meter of air so toxic with violence. The atmospheres were breathless there. The bronchial trees were ligatured with carbons. Some damage I had expected, but no one expects the violence of glances, of offices, of walkways and train stations, of bathroom mirrors especially, the vicious telephones, the coarseness of daylight, the brusque decisions of air, the casual homicides of dresses. What brutal hours, what brutal days. Do not say, oh, find the good in it. Do not say, there was virtue. There was no virtue, not even in me. Let us begin from there. Restraining metals covered my heart. Rivulets of some unknown substance transfused my veins at night, especially at night. It is always at night. A wall of concrete enclosed me. It was impossible to open my eyes. I lived like this, as I said, without care. Tanks rolled into my life. Grenades took root in my uterus. I was sickly each morning, so sickly. What to say? My life went on around me. I laughed. I had drinks. I gathered with friends. We grinned our aluminum teeth. We exhaled our venomous breaths. We tried to be calm in the invisible architecture we incubated, like cluster bombs, whole lives waiting, whole stellar regions, discoveries of nebulae and compassion. From the cities the electric rains pierced us, the ceaseless bitter days folded like good linen. The phosphorus streets gave off their harmful lights. We bit our fingernails to blue buttons. We staggered at the high approach of doorways, plunged repeatedly to our deaths only to be revived by zoos, parades, experiments, exhibits, television sets. Oh, we wanted to leave. We wanted to leave the aspirated syllables in villages, the skeletal dance floors, the vacant moons that tortured us, where the jailers went home and the spectators drifted away and the scientists finished their work like a bad dog chained to an empty gas station. For blue, blue nights, I got worse and worse. So troubling. I would fall dead like a specimen at the anthropometric spectacles on the Champ de Mars, the Jardin d'Acclimation, the mobile addresses of the autopsy fields, though I could see no roads. I paid for losing everything, even eyesight.
Thank you. Not even to me.
I was thinking while you were reading, Jayson, I was like, oh, I hear Dion in Jayson's work, but then I was thinking about your work from like, I don't know what, like 6 years ago, and I was like, wait, that ringing, that like clarity was already in Jayson's work.
That means a lot. That means a whole lot. I've been trying to figure out what poems mean to me in this moment, and Dion is a light for sure. So that means more than you know. Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jerriod, you want to squeeze one in before? I know you got to get going soon.
Okay. I hate that thing. All I eat.
Thank God.
All my peeps, my skills, all my creed, my bay, my draw, heavy bands. Sprawl, dry creeks, dry quills, sprawl, dry feed, dry clay, dry small, petty lands. Tall, try peaks, try hills, tall, try breed, try way, try gall, ready cannons. Ball by feast, by bills, ball by lead, by splay, by all sweaty hands. Crawl, why cheat, why steal, crawl, why speed, why stay, why stall, steady man. All I eat, I kill. All I need, I say, I already have. All I eat, I feel. All I need, I pray, I already have. Crawl, why cheat, why steal, crawl, why speed, why stay, why stall, steady man. Ball by feast, by bills, ball by lead, by splay, by all sweaty hands. Tall, try peaks, try heels, tall, try breed, try play, try gall, ready calves. Sprawl, dry creeks, dry quills, sprawl, dry feed, dry clay, dry small, petty laughs. Call my peeps, my skill. Call my creed, my bay, my draw, heavy bang.
Just having fun with it. Just showing off.
Like a poet.
Fun.
Huh?
I hate I got a lot out of it, man, but I love y'all and the energy and the strength. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, y'all. This is great.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Jerome.
God, and happy birthday again.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Big life to you. All you need, you already have.
All right.
Yeah. We can keep hanging out for a little bit if y'all want to.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Good. Nabi, you want to go next?
Lord. Yeah, just wow. Okay. This poem is called When We See Us. When We See Us. She who we said we would never be the bitch on the other side of a screen door in the rain for 2 hours over a nigga. Us, two sisters huddled over our AIM accounts to our other little girlfriends about the girl who would not dub the low drum of my sister's brother's name. We laughed and were thunder laughing at her. If we were preteen smokers and not late teen smokers, we would have tossed blunt guts over her underachievement. The kind of shorty out in a shower for a nigga was never my plan. And still I found myself dick silly in a city with exclusively closed bars. Found myself in a pool with no water tracing fish into the sidewall for the prospect of a window. I mean, when I left my nigga, there were no trumpets, no vuvuzelas for enacting midnight. Fact, he was a nigga in need of leaving. My neighbors remained on their side of the wall with their dog and their own raised verbs. I put down the dog, tequila raised in my chest. My voice a low crumble. Get out, get out. Fists to nouns again. I mean, once I was tied by the hip to a man who did the dishes and a mattress with a sunk-in crate for a dip. But today, it's 58 degrees, and in my crew neck, I walk a river's length. And who else were we to have? Our mothers had their own laughs. All the girls were not our sisters. Some would be our misters.
Where's
the mixtape? Where's the album? Where's the album, Nuggie?
Because you're so rude and I want to talk about it. We would have talked blunt guts over her underachievement. Nigga, who are you? Dictfully and city rhyming? Nah, you play too much. You play too much. And I know that now. I knew it before, but I know that now. It's okay. Wow.
I didn't know. I wasn't ready.
Most of us aren't.
Still not. Having received that, I'm still not ready.
Wow. Oh.
I'm wondering, because I know both you, Jayson, and Nabila have been, studying music theory a lot. And I'm wondering, like, how, and making music, you know what I mean? And, like, and you have already musical inclinations, but I'm just wondering what this, like, new sense of study is, like, offering you, like, in the writing, in the reading, at any stage of it.
Are you studying together? Or it's just something that just happens to be both happening for you, too?
I feel like we're always in study together. Like, even though we're not necessarily doing the same thing. So, like, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, Nabi can speak to this too, but, like, it kind of just happened that, like, we found out that we were both, like, musically inclined at, like, the same time, like, just years ago, right? And had always been, like, talking about it, like, singing and just, like, all of the things that, like, we loved, and it was always an intention, I think. And I think over the last couple of, honestly, like, maybe over the last, like, couple of months, even the last year, right? Like, I think that this is the time, at least for me, where intention has finally, like, found its feet, right? And I've been able to kind of, like, plant my feet in a specific kind of practice about it, right? But music has been a part of my life forever, right? My mom is a singer, right? Like, I, like, was in choirs my whole life. Like, I did the group thing for a long time. And I always thought that it would be a part of my practice. I just didn't know how. And so, yeah, I think finding, like, I don't know, like, every time I've been able to talk with Nabi about it, it's, like, kind of like having, like, a mirror, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's been really nice to, like, pick up the phone and always be like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Oh, shit, you're doing it too? That.
It's so true. Oh my God. Just, a lot of gratitude to just homies who are just doing the things, right? Like, and down to think about just making and all of its possibilities, Big ups to our homie Raven Jackson, whose movie is going to be coming out. That just announced today, like, and so, I feel like I just feel like so much of the craft is, like, with the homies, and, like, with the music theory, like, I feel like that is definitely in the way that Jayson is talking about doing it. But I think the other thing is I've been on some baby music theory thing, who knows, listening to a lot of battle rap. Yes. And I won't lie to you, the ways that battle rappers flip words and, like, flip rhymes and just their cadences and what it means to be in pocket and thinking about flow and thinking about schemes, thinking about all of the things that they implore, which is so close to poetry, except it's, like, all you have to listen to. I think it definitely has changed how I hear rhyme at points, and, like, and, like, helped for me to better imagine how words can be broken and bent. And so I think that's definitely, like, affecting, because that poem especially is, like, hella new. And so, like, I definitely think I see it. Like, I started seeing it in a lot of the new work recently. Yeah.
Agreed. I think like in that same vein, like what I've been finding is like, so I've been obsessed with the divas, right? Like, and just thinking about like, and not only the big ones, right? Like, and not only like, you know, the international ones, right? Like the Patti LaBelle's and the Mariahs, right? But like also like, you
is
know,
Sade a diva? Does she make?
Yeah.
I know she doesn't have the personality, like she doesn't do the thing, but like I just think her music is so amazing and always appropriate for everything. And I don't understand why people aren't praising her the way that other people get praised.
I think because the West praises audacity in a way that like Sade like doesn't necessarily like subscribe to. You know?
Right. Literally quiet kind of storm. You know.
Come on. Yeah.
And also like, and I think that that's the thread of like all of the people that I'm looking at, because like I think about the way that like Michelle used the world, right? Who was like one of my favorite vocalists of all time, right? And yeah, that's a really interesting point. But like it's making me think about choices, right? To make a long story short, right? And like the way choices and interpretation, right? The way that, you know, you can take a song that you've sung for, you know, 200 shows, right? And like with a different band and a different intention, it can sound completely different, right? The language is different. Like I'm trying to understand revision in that way, because I've always had like trouble with it. And I think that like understanding, I think sound to me has always been like, I'm understanding how revisable sound can be, right? And I'm understanding that if I approach the poem on the level of sound, right, I have more things to move with, right? Things to play with than just like being like subject to the language, right? So yeah, I think that the study kind of freaked me up a little bit, right? Because I was able to understand what I could do in a poem like on a different level and kind of like transpose the knowledges, if that makes sense. Yeah. That's just me.
Thank you.
Charleen, what are you studying right now?
Sorry, love, say that again, please.
Oh, I said, what are you studying right now?
Well, I mean, me and Navi have been watching a lot of stuff. Right now we're watching Watchmen. But also a lot of the shorts. I have a Criterion account and a bunch of like shorts. They have this Afrofuturism collection. So I'm just like into film. But I just read like Yona Harvey's collection and spending time with that. I'm taking a erasure class at NYU with Robin Cost-Lewis.
A what class?
Erasure.
Erasure class.
Yeah. So those are the things that I'm kind of like I'm spending class.
And what about you, Saretta?
Yeah. I mean, I'm studying like, I'm in the dirt a lot. I'm like planting and like tending fallow land, and I'm also like doing a lot of community organizing work. So I work with Black Lives Matter here in Phoenix, as well as another group, Black Phoenix Organizing Collective, that focuses on, for the upcoming year, the focus is on disability justice and reproductive justice. But yeah, just kind of like being with land, being with people, and trying to make a space to write in it as well. Though, I mean, lately that has been taking a back seat.
That study of the land, fam.
Yeah, it's good. It's like, I mean, another component of it is that, so my family has a farm, and since my grandparents died, it's been like kind of just like falling apart. And so now like my dad's generation and also my generation, we're trying to like fix it, but there's just so much like trauma in the land that people don't know how to talk about. That's like, oh, we think we're talking about a barn and we're disagreeing in ways that are like totally irrational, but it's because we're actually also talking about like these other like emotional attachments to like this particular property that there's no language for. Yeah, so like my own private gardening space is like my kind of like space for processing some of that.
It's funny that you bring that up because like right before this this reading started, I was watching what is that movie? It's like this documentary. I think it's Marwin Call. It's about he's a veteran. And I only caught like the last 15 minutes of it, but like he's a veteran who essentially was like badly beaten by like 5 agents, and like it's the story of him making these figurines, right, to kind of like interact with the world, right? He makes these like replicas, right, of his time in combat, just anything that he's kind of like emotionally trying to deal with, right? It's so it like shook me because like the way that he's able to. Toni Morrison said that she started writing because like it helped her make sense of the world, right? And like I saw that all through his practice, right? Because like you saw him like at White Columns, even I think his show was at White Columns, right? Like feeling super anxious, right? And not being able to do anything but take pictures of shoes, right? But like the way that he's able to articulate and create like these models like in the world is so or in like the world that he builds, right? It's so full, right? It's so present. It's so alive, right? Like one of the last things I'm going to say is like, I want to live there. And so like, it just makes me wonder, like, what do you feel like you've been able to kind of imbue the land with anything since you've been there, right? Like, do you feel like you've been able to kind of like carve out like your own space, right? On the land amidst like all of the kind of like shit that y'all are working through?
Well, luckily, like the farm is in Florida, so like all of the work, right, that I'm doing, I'm not able to do physical work. Like everything that I'm doing is like bureaucratic, and then also like just navigating with people in meetings and stuff. So that's like a blessing. I'm like because of COVID, I can't go until I'm gonna drive out later this year, but. So yeah, that's the answer to your question. But I do think like in terms of working things out in physical space, like there's another way that I'm involved with land. I work with No More Deaths here, which is a humanitarian aid group. We like go out in the desert and leave water and food and stuff to migrants to find while they're traveling. And like that work had just gotten incredibly heavy for me. And so a friend and I started going out just without doing the humanitarian aid work and just like spending time in places like, because there are maps online, you can find like where people have been found, and just like kind of like doing video work and performance work like in these places, like trying to find ways to have like tangible connections to these places where people have like ended their lives, like not intentionally, but like where their lives have been ended. And that kind of artistic practice has actually been really like healing and generative. And I don't know that I would make anything to like share that came out of that directly, but yeah, that's been like a kind of a generative, that's like the kind of thing that I see that runs parallel to this guy making figures.
Yeah. The work that, isn't necessarily for sharing is so important as well. In terms of processing or in terms of process. And also just like the like what those lessons like hold for us individually, like I think, I don't know. I'm really glad to hear you speak about that a little bit. And then, I don't know. I don't know. There are things that I don't know. I've been doing that I kind of keep referencing to as like sketches, in that they're like, whether or not they're, and they're not necessarily taking a like pen and paper form or something, but it's like it's they're just like a kind of notation that's like for an internal work, I'm wondering what that might look like for some of you all as well. Like that, be it like, dancing or, sewing or something, like, I don't know what, like, Nabila, I don't know, what are your, your like secret practices or like your,
my gosh.
I'm not asking for the secret,
No.
but like,
but this is hilarious because, and Charleen knows this, my secret practice is that I've been keeping secrets. That's what I've been literally doing. I like have like a thing on my wall that like on the front just says shh, and then on the other side is a secret that I am keeping for myself because I'm just like practicing keeping secrets, and it's been a very interesting practice. It's been really fascinating, but that's been like a secret part of my practice is just like what it means to keep a secret. It's been so wild because I feel like so much of me negotiates often like what is too much to say, what is too little to say, and like what my saying will do to a thing, and all of these different things. And I think it's a great way to just be able to like see, to like process, to try something out, have an experiment. So that's very much so where what I've been doing is my secret.
I really love that.
I love that question, Char. That's hilarious.
My secret practice, and shout out to Nkoku, I've been playing chess every day.
Oh, okay. No.
Every day?
Yeah. Like on my phone.
Wow.
Like playing every day. Like at least like, I mean, for the last maybe couple of months now. And like, I wouldn't say like I'm like nice or anything, but like, I know the rules, like I can make shit happen,
That's a big thing. I don't know the rules. Y'all know the rules?
Yes.
I know the horse goes like an L.
That's what I knew before, I took these lessons. And so, it's really, it's nice to be able to have like a thing to just kind of do. And I guess like that's the other part about sacred practices is the fact that like because they don't have to be in the world, I can arrive at them any way I want, and that like sometimes the anxiety and like showing up to a thing that's gonna like have to be like produced eventually, right, is a little nuts. And so it's nice to just like open my phone and like rock a game of chess like wherever I am. It's like it's kind of like, remember those lanyards that you used to make when you were a kid? It kind of feels like that,
How about you, Charleen?
You said secret, right?
I said secret, but Jayson said sacred, and I think I like that. No, that slippage was impeccable. Yeah, that's really.
In one way, then, like, so I had been really thinking about monastery life, and just like trying to. I've also like in this time realized how much anxiety I've been holding on to. High anxiety. And I'm in the middle of grief, like I lost my mother, and so I've just been trying to find ground. So like, literally like we get up, meditate, we do the dishes every day. We clean, like, just like feeling like I'm trying to live like I'm in a monastery, grounded. Also just, actually hearing Saretta talk about the land, I've just also been trying to learn, and I've been trying to connect more to this natural world that we actually live in and not this construction that has been built on top of it, and learning more about, like I've been reading the book Braiding Sweetgrass and thinking about, what I've been told and what there is available with the land to us through the land. And as well as like astronomy and learning about the constellations. So I don't know, all those things intersect. But yeah, those are the things that I've been doing just to find, like the practice at being here.
Do we want to do another round?
We can.
And yeah, we're getting because we're getting a little bit close to the end.
I will say we still got to hear Charleen from that last round.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Right. Thank you for keeping better track than I have been.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, oh my God.
Monastery life.
Okay. I'll do this one since we have one more. We'll do one more after this. Songs of Summer. We're in the car because the gas bill is due and the water bill. We're out of milk. The salt plays from the radio in soprano heat. A full choir of magnolia leaves backing the soloist. 2 kids buckled to the corners of her rear view. We returned to the chorus. The car pulled up next to us at the red light. Toyota tuned to an old year, 97, 74, 88, 62. We've driven through miles of song. The tires on a J.C. Penney line of credit, running low. The sunroof open, and just outside the window is my baby we're singing to. Somewhere spinning from here, it didn't matter where we were going. Past the Winn-Dixie, down Old Concord, Cherokee Shrub, Georgia Grown, boiled peanuts on a cardboard sign, salty lyrics longing the pulp in our molars. The radio was on the windows of summer from the back seat. We waited on the side. 285 at the roller rink. It didn't matter the song. Crushed ice, Coca-Cola in styrofoam cups, disco ball, and white skates. Naughty with the neon pink laces. The song spinning, freak naked denim shorts spinning under our feet, still spinning while spitting sucked sunflower seeds in the parking lot. In the back of an old pickup, the sun going down. The song slowing to grab your lover. The song slowed as the world dimmed till it was burnt timber and hard to see this late everything bent into the black pines, black deer, the heart, car metal dented against, listeners calling into stations this late between songs. It gets more dangerous to love someone. Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh,
Come on.
Come on.
Come on, Charleen.
Whoa.
Come on, Charleen. What?
Title one more time?
Songs of Summer.
Oh.
Give me that right.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And we get one more wow, okay.
Who's next? Go.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna say because I didn't say what my sacred practice has been. And it's been visitation with water, but it's and pouring water. So walking every day to a canal or to a lake that's near me and just like being with it. But also, it's like I like can't get through the day unless I've like have poured water into another vessel, and I've just filled it up. And from it I drink, and from it I like water my plants. But it's like, it has to, the water has to be boiled and filtered every day. And then like that water is also the water that lives on my altar. And it's just this like
Wow.
cycle of water. And the other day I've been carrying Akilah Oliver's A Toast in the House of Friends with me, just like in my walking and just in my, like life right now. And it's kind of fun. I did a version of this. Like I always carry, whenever I have books in my like tote bag or whatever, I used to just keep it in like a plastic bag, but then a friend told me that Renee Gladman keeps her books in a Ziploc bag, and I switched to that. And so for many years I've had the same Ziploc bag. And this is just like what it's to keep it protected from water or whatever. But the other day I took the bag out of the book out of the Ziploc bag, and the book was wet. And I still have, it hadn't rained. The outside of the bag wasn't wet. And yet still like the book itself was noticeably damp. And I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm thinking about it as a visitation, and I'm going to read the first poem in the book, Inaporia, in that it blows my mind as it did the first time every single time. I'm trying on egos, a justification for the planet's continuance. Oh, hello, transgressor. You've come to collect utilitarian debts, humbling narrative space. Give me a condition and wheatgrass. I, his body, is disintegrating. I, his body, is ossification. Death, my habit, radius, yeah. I, his body, can't refuse this summons. I can't get out this fucking room. Tell me something different about torture, dear trickster. Tell me about the lightness my mother told me to pick the one I love the best. How it signals everything I ever wished to believe true, just wholly on my ship. I jump all over this house. This is it. What I thought is thought only, nothing more deceptive than. I, his body, keeps thinking someone will come along, touch me, as like human or lima bean. I'm cradling you to my breast. You are looking out. A little wooden lion you and Peter carve on Bluff Street is quieting across your cheekbone. Not at all like the kind of terror found in sleep on trembling grounds. It is yesterday now. I have not had a chance to dance in this century. Tonight I shall kill someone, a condition to remember Sunday mornings. I think of lives as repetitions rather than singular serial incarnations. To understand your death is as exacerbating as trying to figure out why, as school children in mid-1960s Southern California, we performed reflexive motions, cutting out lace snowflakes, reading Dick and Jane search for their missing mittens, imagining snow. And this too, fiction, the book I would want to write, the restored, fallen, heroic. Did you expect a different grace from the world, or upon exit? I'm working on tough. They think I am already. Who is the dead person? Is I'm sorry real to a dead person? Browning grass, my hands on this table, a contentious century, a place to pay rent, redemptive moments. Am I now the dead person? Dead person, will you partake in my persimmon feast? The body inside the body is found, confesses sins of the fun house. I too have admired the people of this planet, their freely ordered intellects, the use they've made of cardamom, radiation as well, how they've pasteurized milk, loaned surnames to stars, captured tribes, diseases, streets, and ideas too.
Oof. Wow.
Thank you, Oliver.
Also, we low-key got a 5-minute warning in the chat.
Oh, true.
I think that's perfect. I think that's the perfect time. Because I'm supposed to be next and I can't right now with Akila. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Akila makes everything pause.
Yeah.
Well, I love y'all.
I love y'all.
I love you a lot. This has been really fantastic.
Right here.
Thank
Right.
you, my friend.
So thank you, everyone, for your participation tonight. It was, just thank you, yeah. We had Sean, Jerriod, Nabila, Charleen, Saretta, and Jayson tonight. So I just want to say thank you again. The final installment of the series of readings and conversations will take place on Saturday, March 6th. So you can check back to our website and social media for more information. And again, the exhibition in all of Geometry and Mornings is on Via White Columns till March 6th. So you still have a week to see it in person. So, get on down here. Yes.
Hey, y'all, look at that photo. Sean, point to it.
There,
Everyone.
Work. So make your way down to White Columns if you haven't already. And thank you again, everyone, and have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
y'all.
Hey.
Good night. Thank you so much.